Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of Ask Guillem. This one from a marvelous hotel. Actually, it's a really nice hotel. It's called Only You. It's called Only You, and it's near the Atocha train station because I'm in Madrid, as I'm going to be watching Real Madrid Inter Milan for CBS. But before all that, and before I focus on that, I wanted to chat to you. Lots of questions this week, and varied as well. Let's go with Paul May first, who says, El Mago, David Silva, top of the pile again where he belongs. And I couldn't agree more. This is a Real Sociedad that looks fantastic. There are moments of brilliance, of beautiful football based on movement, 1-2 touches, the ability to finish. They've been very, very efficient. In fact, it's the first time in their history that they managed to win by an average of three goals or more. 4 times in a row. In fact, 5 of the last 6, that's what's happened. So they can score, and they've only conceded 4 goals. So this is a great combination of quality and work, believing in the manager, Imanol Alguacil, of course, somebody that came through the ranks as a player. Then he went away to Villarreal. Then he came back as a coach, was given the job first without him wanting it. The second time he got the job, he actually decided to stay on. And right now, they just got the perfect combination, as I'm saying, of this mixture of things, plus quality too. You've got Oyarzabal, somebody that can win you a game, that can finish a move, that can create a pass. A lot of things that really, really help. That's because I tried to stop somebody calling. Anyway, so David Silva, we know his ability as well, and he's actually working hard to recover the ball as well. It's absolutely necessary that they all do that. And when Isaac is not scoring the goals, William Jose is doing so. They had, at the beginning, they had a doubt about the centre-backs, and they wanted to buy Cabrera of Espanyol or Mario Hermoso of Atlético Madrid, but they decided to keep it as it is with Lenormand and Elustondo, and it works. They've got lots of centre midfielders of quality. Zubimendi, you've got Guevara, you've got Iyarramendi, who will come back from injury soon. None of them is Xabi Alonso, but certainly they have the ability to do what is necessary in that part of the pitch. Barrenechea, a winger that has got a lot of quality, all very young as well. The average is about 23 years of age. Real Sociedad looks fantastic, and in fact they have better record right now, better stats than when they won the league in the 80s. A long way from that, but certainly it's interesting that they've been talked that kind of situation, the possibility of challenging for a title. It's early days anyway, but for that to happen, you have to have an Atletico Madrid that is not hitting all cylinders, but they haven't lost a game, and I think they're going to get better. A Real Madrid exactly the same, where they're not being very efficient, but Hazard is coming back now, already scored against Huesca, and a Barcelona that's struggling to find the best version. When that happens, there's always one team that challenges. Early days, as I say, but remember they've got a big squad. There's not a huge difference between the first 11, if you like, and the following 11. There's a lot of competition for places. And as I say, it's wonderful to watch. Les Maquis says, why do Cadiz not need the ball to win games? Barca and the Pep lost possession 6 seconds to win it back. Cadiz and the Cervera gain possession 6 seconds to score a goal. Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Possession is nothing. Possession means nothing. Possession recreates a style, but it's no guarantee of anything. If you pass the ball between the centre-backs, you go nowhere. I think for a while there's been a lot of respect to having possession and a lot of thinking that possession is actually what wins you games. But if you even look at how Pep Guardiola has evolved, he obviously considers having the ball as the main weapon to win games, but he's veering towards quick transitions, because every team now know how to defend. They defend very compact, and they're very intelligent as well in how they move their pawns, their players, to actually stop other teams attacking with fluidity. So then you have to just make not direct passes, but more vertical passes. One that one or two passes to get to the rival box. It happens a lot with Manchester City. I think he started to either learn or admit that that was a way forward. At Bayern Munich, of course, the German league is a league of transitions, and even though he tried to control that with more and more midfielders and more and more possession, he soon realized that he had to combine those things. So Cadiz, they don't want the ball. They really don't want the ball, which is another weapon to win to. And they're doing really well, 4 consecutive wins. And it's based on fast players, counter-attack that is not just the same all the time. Sometimes the forwards wait in the center to hold the ball and distribute it. Other times you've got wide players in wide areas who get the ball and then they attack that way. It depends how the rival does it. So they do that really well, and of course they defend as a team. I'm very happy. I got to see Cadiz close up, talk to the players, the chairman, the coach for Talking Football, which is a show I present on La Liga TV, and I recommend, not because I present it, but because it is one of those shows that are produced with a lot of quality, with lots of cameras, with lots of time. It's like an artisan kind of work, and they basically chats about how things are done, the philosophy of clubs. I've spoken to Iniesta there, to Xavi Hernandez, to Pochettino, and I went to Cadiz as well. And there is the Talking Football that we did on Cadiz allow me to understand what's behind the recent success of Cadiz, and especially of Álvaro Cervera, whose motto is the fight doesn't get negotiated, or you don't negotiate the fighting. You have to fight. That's the minimum requirement, and you can see it in the way that Cadiz plays. What else? We've got Chris saying, does Simeone, what about Diego Simeone's future? How long will he remain? Nobody's talking about that. I think Simeone wants shorter contracts, but to be honest, one thing is happening right now is that coaches cannot move and do not move. So the ones that will like a job, there's been so few movements that they have to wait for a job, especially if their expectations is a particular type of job. Say Pochettino, it's been since November that he's been out of a job. We all know his capabilities, and he deserves right now. The career he's done means that the next step should be a top job. But nobody's sacking anybody because of the uncertainty of the situation. I think clubs have decided to be a little bit more conservative, not to take massive steps that will unsettle things that are already fragile. So that means too that coaches, managers in a club who may have been in question. I'm not talking about Oscar of Celta is at the verge of being sacked. I'm afraid of saying Javi Gracia wanted to leave because of the situation at Valencia, but generally clubs haven't made many movements, which means Diego Simeone won't have much to choose if he wanted to leave. But the simple fact is that he doesn't want to leave. He's happy where he is. And what's interesting is that now Atletico Madrid are actually starting to play in a different way. They're using in the wide, still 4-4-2, in the wide areas, offensive players like Correa, like Carrasco, like Llorente. And of course, it's all down to not just Joao Felix, but Joao Felix gets the benefit of it. It's because of Luis Suarez. Why? Because if you had Morata or Diego Costa, you have to play it long to them. You have to create a space in front of them behind the defense. So you absorb pressure and you counter. But with Luis Suarez, because he hasn't got that pace, you've got to get him in the box or around the box, surrounded by players that understand his movements and feed him the ball. When that happens, Joao Felix can play in a central position, linking up and also making an impact. You don't make him run box to box. You actually make him shine with his talent when there are small spaces. But when you have to think quickly and when you need the quality of your feet. So Joao Felix is doing that. 2 goals in 2 games, in each of the last two games, and they're playing today, of course, means that that Atletico Madrid have become more offensive. Finally, 18 goals scored this season already in 8 games, I think it is, which is not usual. So he will remain at Atletico Madrid for a while. That's what I'm trying to say. Colm is saying, do Barcelona have the funds to buy in January? Why do Barcelona persist with a back four that considered 8 goals to Bayern and 4 to Liverpool? Because they haven't been able to bring anybody else. Umtiti out of the equation. His injury problems are so severe that nobody wants to buy him. Barcelona don't want to use him. Eric Garcia, there will be an offer for him. Another one, it was the one that they proposed, was not accepted by Manchester City, and because his contract is finishing and he's not renewing, they will go for him. So there will be another centre back. But also Araujo is a player that they want to use more often. He got injured now, which means he will be out for 2 or 3 weeks, but they've got high hopes of him. Piqué is still a very good centre back, and Lenglet is as well. And if they conceded so many goals, it wasn't just because of the centre-backs. It was because of the attitude of the whole team. They gave up. They didn't have energy to recover the ball or to attack. It was dreadful. Yes, Piqué and Lenglet are still the favourite centre-backs, but you must start to see more of Araujo and Eric Garcia as the time passes, because as you know, Koeman doesn't mind asking young players to have big roles, as we've seen with Ansu Fati and with Pedri, etc. We're talking of Pedri right now, actually, because Omer Farouk, he says, is Pedri another Barcelona purchase like Coutinho or Griezmann, who was supposed to be a wide player but is more suited to a central role? No. Barcelona saw the quality of Pedri very early on. Before he started, he only played 3 games for Las Palmas. And the director of football of Las Palmas knew Ramon Planas, who's now the director of football of Barcelona. And he was told, you know what, get this guy because he's going to be big. So they signed him for 5 million euros, and then he started playing for Las Palmas in the 2nd division. And everybody realized what a quality player he is. And no, he's not a wide player. He's, I don't want to compare him to Iniesta, although I just did. But he plays in between the lines. He's one of the 3 midfielders or a number 10. And he did very well against Alaves, very, very well. He did well at Juventus as well. When Barcelona went to Turin to play Juventus. Using a little bit the space of Messi, but more towards the left. And he linked up well with Messi, got into the box as well. He's happy to have the ball in the heat, in the hot part of the pitch, the one that nobody wants the ball in. He wants to have it. Always well, but his body position is great. Top player, top player, and he's not a Coutinho or a Griezmann from that point of view. They knew what they were getting. And he's the future of Barcelona, alongside Araujo and Ansu Fati, Trincao, De Jong. Exciting, yes. Enough in the next year or 2 to actually win things? Doubtful. Kushal Basnet is saying, what league and country Biggleswade United play? We're a Step 5 club, 9th division in England. The best thing I've ever done in my life. And now fighting to give the coaches, the volunteers, tools to make sure that they stay in contact between the coaches, but also the coaches and the players in this next month of lockdown that is going to take place in England. We will have CPDs. These are Zoom meetings with coaches where I invite a coach, a professional coach, or somebody within the club may do that as well, and explain the coaches what things that they want to learn about. There are questions, but there are presentations as well. I've got a sports psychologist coming over to the club as well, and that will help coaches and players, etc. I could talk about Biggleswade all day long, so I'll stop here. And the media department is also preparing nice podcasts and vlogs and other stuff to keep us all entertained in the next few weeks. Marek Wasinski saying Barcelona keeps on having trouble scoring goals in the upcoming weeks. What do you think Koeman may try to do to change that? Change players, change formation? Against Alaves, you know what? They actually should have won. 21 shots on goal, created a lot of chances. They perhaps didn't use the wide areas enough. And I was surprised that Trincao, left-footed, was on the right-hand side, and Dest, a right-footed, was on the left-hand side, because that kind of the tendency is to come inside. But they created enough. They were unlucky. that was after they went to Turin and won. So I think it's just a matter of a little bit of luck, perhaps to develop the harmony that's necessary up front. It's interesting that Griezmann now realizes that his role is as a secondary role. He's got to score the goals. It's important that he does, and he did against Alaves. But he's got to take advantage of the chances that he will be created for him. And while in France he's a star, he at Barcelona is a cog in the machine, and he kind of started to accept that. That will help create the harmony that's necessary for everything to work. Early days for the Koeman project, and I think obviously things are tried and moved around with the pie arriving. That's the plan if they have money, which I think is somebody asking about the money before, and I didn't answer. Was that right? Oh yes, calm. Well, I'll say to you that Barcelona need to reduce the costs by 300 million euros. That's a lot of money. The only way for them to actually get players is to sell. But they will also have to sell to raise money. So really difficult financial situation at Barcelona, which means that the pie is wanted, but we will see if they have the money for it. It will really depend on players leaving. Managing Barca says, what do you think is going on with Lionel Messi, since he's struggling in front of goal a lot? And that's the last question. We've done a lot of Barcelona today. Apologies, but if you want to hear about something else, just ask away. What's happening with Leo Messi is that the lack of harmony, I think. Obviously, he's had chances that he hasn't converted, and he's only scored one goal penalty in the league, which suggests that he's not as efficient as he was. But does he find himself in the same goal-scoring places that he did before? Yes and no. He does get into those positions, and when he hasn't been accurate enough. That will improve. But also because they know his runs, and because the harmony is not there for Barcelona, which means that others can create space for him to take advantage of. That's not there yet. It means that it's easy to defend him. So when he gets the ball, sometimes he gets into no way out streets, if that's a word, which means that he sometimes loses the ball. He should keep trying that, because it will make his teammates understand that they have to make runs for that space to open, and also creates free kicks in dangerous positions too, which we know he's very good at. So it's just a matter of time. Don't doubt about Messi. Even though we've reached that point in January, he could just sign for anybody. And we'll talk about that next week. For now, I've got to think about Real Madrid Inter now. Bye-bye.